Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Joe Canfield, founder and CEO of Fairways Relationship Management. I am here with a round recap. This is something we're going to start doing after we go out and play rounds of golf to kind of let you know about our approach to relationship building and interesting things that happen to us on the golf course, and hopefully get you guys to be better on the course as well. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get into what the round I played like today was. You can tell I just barely came off the course, just got home from the round, so it's fresh in my mind. I want to get it out and into the recording here before I forget what happened and the things that I learned today out on the course. And then I want to get into the Ryder Cup a little bit and talk about some of the things going on with Team USA, our take on some of it, and exactly what's going on there with Team USA and how I would, if I'm Captain Zach Johnson. Obviously, I'm not qualified to do that. I've never played on the PGA Tour, but a lot of what's going on there is mindset, and I think a lot of the players aren't over there for the right reasons, and so we're going to get into that a little bit. So stick with us here, a quick little break, and we'll get into it. So today I played in a pro-am. It was a charity event for a PGA member who has passed away here in Utah. A bunch of the pros get together and put this event on. I was invited kind of last minute by a friend of ours that I don't know super well. I played with my dad. He kind of called me last minute and said, "Hey, I need somebody to fill in." And I'm like, okay, hard to say no to a free round of golf. But anyway, I was interested in playing with our PGA friend, coach friend, because as you know, I'm going through some PGA training right now myself to get better at coaching so that I can deliver better swing analysis to people, going through V1 sports analysis training as well, so that I can be certified in that. So when I do virtual lessons with you all, that those are coming across and are super valuable for you. So I got it myself in my round planning notebook here, wrote down who I was playing with, got the name, kind of looked at his background. One of the interesting things that I found out about him was he actually almost made the senior tour a few years back, which is not a small feat. And one of the cool things about the senior PGA Tour is that a lot of the guys that are on the senior PGA Tour never actually played on the PGA Tour. Some of these guys picked up golf later in life. They got really good at it. They got hooked, like a lot of you are, like I am. Obviously, I've played for a while, but anyway, he nearly made the senior tour, and that was something I really wanted to talk to him about. That was something I was curious about, something that is interesting to me, that somebody later in life is like, I'm going to go, I've had a professional career, and now I want to go play on the senior PGA Tour and have another professional career, but on a golf tour this time, which I think is incredible, and it says a lot about the person if they're willing to put in the time and effort, especially later in life when they have families and kids and careers and all that stuff to worry about, to give that up or takes a pause on those kinds of things and say, okay, I'm going to go play on the senior tour. Anyway, I also want to put in here another question to ask, was talking about, PGA certification and the process for that and how it looks. It's not, golf instruction isn't necessarily something that there's a massive need for, especially in Utah. There's a lot of PGA instructors. There's a lot of professional instructors here. And so I was curious about the community and how fellow instructors kind of looked at each other, if they were competition, if it was friendly. I mean, they play in a lot of tournaments and stuff together. And so that was something I wanted to get into with him as well. So we get out on the course. I go through a little warm up before we go out and play, just because that's what I do. I'd like to play well. Didn't sleep great last night, so I'm not feeling my best. Throw a Celsius down the hatch and get some caffeine in me, and we see what we can do. But get the warm up in, and we go out on the first hole, and I start kind of creating that, asking questions, getting familiar, and making them feel comfortable. And one of the challenges with this round was my handicap was low enough that I had to play the back tees, while my dad and our fourth and the pro is old enough that they're all playing the up tee, right? So I'm put in this situation where I'm not on the tee box with each other, and I also wasn't riding in the cart with him either. And so I'm kind of put in a disadvantage to begin with, which isn't ideal, obviously, right? Like, I'm going to have to work really hard to have that conversation and get those questions out. And so I hit my tee shot. I hit the first tee shot, hit it in the middle of the fairway. We're in good place. It was a Las Vegas scramble format, which means everybody hits a tee shot. You select the best one you want to play from, and then everyone plays their own ball in from there. You take one net, one gross score. So if I'm getting a stroke on a hole and I make a par, I get to count a birdie. And so that's a really fun format to play. But anyway, I realized really quickly on, like, second, third hole, that our pro was way into it, right? He wanted to play really good golf. He's out on the greens. He's reading the greens for everybody. He's giving everybody distances. He's wanting to win this tournament. Like, that was his goal for that day. And once I recognized that, everything that I had prepared for and everything that I wanted to ask him kind of went out the window, right? Because he's not in the mindset of, I want to be a mentor right now. He says, I want to win this golf tournament. I want to play unbelievably good golf right now. And he's in it for money too. Like, the pros, they all play for sweeps. And so if he wins that, he wins some money, right? And so that he's motivated in that sense. And so one of the things that I've taken away is that it's super important to recognize early on your playing partner's motivations, especially when you're a guest, not setting up the round yourself. If you're setting up the round yourself, it's easy. You can let people know that you're there for relationship building. You're there to have fun. You're there to have conversation. I want to talk about X, Y, and Z before I get on the course today. But since I was a guest, it wasn't my place to impose my will on it, right? It was my place to do what they wanted to do, to play the style he wanted to play, which was play really good golf. And unfortunately, I wasn't good today. I mean, I had a couple of birdies, and we ended up tying for second place at 20 under in that format, which is pretty impressive. We made some good putts, and I joked with my wife when I came home. I said, "Hey, my dad had 2 hole-in-ones today, but they were birdies on par threes that counted for net hole-in-ones, which is a lot of fun to have. And you get to go home and just, take a picture of that scorecard. Hey, it was a 1. We got to count it, right?" So anyway, rather than just being frustrated that I didn't get the questions out and I didn't accomplish the goal that I set out to accomplish, I took it as a way to build a relationship. I asked him swing tips. He's been coaching for, years and years and years, and has a knowledge base that I could only hope to have one day. And so it turned into, let's build this relationship through helping each other play incredible golf. Let's play a really good round, and let's have fun that way, so that memory is what is taken away from that day. And those questions can wait for another time. I can take, another round, and this time I invite him out to play, or I ask him, hey, will you come teach me a swing lesson? And then let's have lunch afterwards. I have some stuff I want to discuss with you. Those are some tactics that I think everybody can develop. But the real takeaway from the day was, recognize early on, if you're a guest, how your hosts want to handle the day. Do they want to be serious? Do they want to play a good game? Do they want to play for money? Are these things that they want to do? Because your role as a guest is to do that, what the host is doing. Like, if you want to be invited back, you need to make sure that your host is having a good time. And being that Debbie Downer, being that I'm not playing this way kind of person, like, that's not a great way to be invited back. Another funny thing that came up during the round was I found out that the course was set up super hard. The wind was blowing. We've got a storm blowing through Utah right now. And the course we played kind of sits up on the bench. And so it's always windy there anyway, but today was particularly brutal. And so you had some holes that you're hitting straight into the wind. You had some holes that you could tee one high and watch it go. You hit a drive 350 and that's always fun. But we played one hole and the pin was in a super tough spot. Right. And the funny thing is our pro kind of joked like, oh man, when we were out here yesterday setting pin positions, these greens were 4 or 5 feet shorter. They had mowed them earlier the last night or this morning. I'm not sure exactly when, but the greens were all faster. And so these pin locations got super tough and it was hard to putt to them. I mean, even our pro three putted from 10 feet once or twice. And so it was fun to kind of jab at him like, hey, it's not very often that the guy who set the pins is in your group and you can blame him for 3 and 5 putts, and it was kind of fun to play that way. And I think he took the lightheartedness of that and was really kind of receptive to that type of stuff. So that's one memory that we can take away from that round. And something that'll live on. So the next time that we play, we can joke about it and say, hey, remember that time you set those super hard pins? This one reminds me of that. Or this is way easier than that day we had up in Layton and the pins were set so hard we couldn't even get to them. And in a scramble, we couldn't, we were 3 and 4 putting. So yeah, it was a fun day. Not as productive as we had hoped it would have been, as far as asking the questions and learning the things that I was hoping to learn. But we did build a closer relationship, and so now I can reach out and say, "Hey, I want to go out and play with you again. Let's do this day, that's this time." And that's something that came out of the round today that I think is positive, and I think that's something that people kind of miss. It's like, oh, I didn't hit my goal. I didn't get the conversation in that I wanted to. I didn't ask the questions, or I didn't close the deal, or these things. But it's important to look at the day in a positive light, right? Look at things as they are and not worse than they are, right? And even go a step beyond looking at them as they are and look at them better than they are. Like, how if things could have gone worse? Like, it could have been a horrible day. Like, I could have been breaking clubs and not even like hitting the ball on the planet today, and would have been just a waste of his time. And I'm not ever getting invited back to a pro-am again because I played such terrible golf that he's like, well, I don't want to do that again. That wasn't fun. And so that's what I'm taking away from today was, okay, I was able to build a relationship. I've learned something about this person that when they're on the golf course, they're laser focused on something, right? So maybe that's not the best place for me to start to ask questions or get into things that I want to get into or details that I want to get into. Maybe that's something I need to wait for after the round to start to ask. Let's stick around. Let's have a drink. Let's, grab a bite to eat after the round. And that's where those things can happen. We can recap what happened in the course that day. And then I can get into the things that I want to ask him about, becoming a PGA pro and doing things like that. So overall, great day. It was fun. I mean, any day you can get out on the golf course is better than a day not playing golf, in my opinion. Even if you play bad golf, you can hit 1 or 2 shots that'll keep you coming back. So great day on the course, and had a lot of fun. Played a course I had never played before here in Utah. I've heard a lot about. So yeah, it was overall a fun day, and we got a little bit out of it, and that's all we can ask for. So to be perfectly honest, I haven't been paying a ton of attention to the Ryder Cup. It's hard when rounds are starting and matches are starting at 1 o'clock local time and 1 a.m. local time. It's something that I like following. And one of the things that I really enjoy about the Ryder Cup is that the players aren't being paid to be there. Like, they are there representing their countries, and it should be enough of an honor to represent your country, right? And apparently there's been a rift through the Team USA that some of the players are unhappy that they aren't being paid. And that frustrates me to no end. Not only are these people getting paid millions of dollars to play golf, they're now complaining that they aren't getting paid to play on the world stage, to represent their countries, represent their continent. I mean, Team Europe, I haven't heard much about. I don't think that there's that same rift going on, but Team USA, definitely. There's players that are upset that they aren't being paid to be there. And it frustrates me because it's like, how much money are you going to make on endorsements because you are playing on this world stage? And if their agents haven't negotiated negotiated into their contracts bonuses for being selected to a Ryder Cup team, like, they're not doing a great job. I'm not an agent, and I'm sitting here going, how are these guys not being paid to be there? They all have deals from Nike, from Under Armour, from Titleist, from TaylorMade, from all these huge brands. And while they're maybe not wearing their clothing on the course because it is a Team USA sanctioned event that they're wearing all the same logos and things like that, they're still wearing shoes. They're still playing these guys' clubs. Their social media still exists outside of Ryder Cup. There are things that they can be doing to promote their partners. And so if their agents haven't negotiated a bonus for being selected to the Ryder Cup, like, that is how you get paid to be there. And that should be some incentive. I think representing your country is the main incentive, but you should be playing for bonuses and contracts, right? To be at the Ryder Cup, to be representing the United States on a world stage, like, that's an absolute honor. There are millions of golfers out there that would they would go nuts for that opportunity. And I'm sure that there's 100 PGA Tour guys that would be like, I'm there in a heartbeat. You don't need to pay me. Maybe fly me over there because, travel's expensive, but like they're getting swag, they're getting wined and dined, they're getting all these things. And so for them to start complaining about um, not being paid to be there is just, it's kind of ridiculous and a little bit tone deaf. I think there's probably a lot of guys that went to live Dustin Johnson wasn't selected for the team. I'm sure he hears somebody say we should be getting paid to be here. And he's like, I'm on a plane now and I'm going to be there playing tomorrow. Like that's ridiculous that they do that. Right. So that's my take on that. I think that anytime you're invited to play golf, you should just be grateful for that invite, right? Even if you have to turn it down, be grateful for the invite. And even more if you're invited to play a incredible golf course in Rome. Like that's just stupid that they're over there complaining. I get it that that's their job and that there's some PGA guys that they won't play golf outside of work, like practice and playing in tournaments. Like that's fine. I get it. I understand. Like I don't like doing work outside of work either. I mean, I used to do graphic design, and when somebody would ask me to design them a wedding invite or whatever, I'd get a little bit grumpy about it. But if they were a close enough friend, whatever, okay, I'll do it. But yeah, playing in the Ryder Cup is special. And I think that there's a ton of players out there that are looking at Team USA right now that are going, holy crap, like these guys aren't grateful to be there. Some of them. I mean, I think there's a few guys that are, but they're going, I would kill for an opportunity to go play in the Ryder Cup, and I would give it everything I have, and I wouldn't complain about not being paid. I wouldn't complain about the swag. I wouldn't complain about accommodations. Like I would be there to play my best golf, to bring a trophy home for Team USA. And I think it's kind of a shame that a few of the guys have taken the route that they have. The other incident I want to address is what happened on the 18th green earlier today, I guess yesterday if you're over in Rome. So long story short, Patrick Cantlay made an unbelievable putt to win the match for the U.S. And I mean, the U.S. is getting smoked. I mean, Team Europe only needs 4 points tomorrow to win the whole thing. And so it's unlikely that the U.S. is going to come back. But Patrick Cantlay makes a long putt to win the hole on 18. Everybody's going nuts. And the caddy on the green, I guess, was in Rory McIlroy's line, and Rory's kind of upset about it. Like, hey, I still need to finish out. And so it kind of came to odds there. And there's a video circulating of Rory just in Joe LaCava's face, getting in the car, just up in his face. You can see him drop a couple F-bombs. He's pointing his finger, and it's kind of intense. And I posted something on our Instagram, and it's just said, this is what can happen when you step in somebody's line, with a little laughy face, because I thought it was kind of funny. But I mean, Roy's got a point. Like, hey, golf is founded on tradition. It's founded in respect. And so when you're up in somebody's face celebrating with them, and John Rahm's getting some flack for this too. I mean, Brooks Koepka called him out for acting like a child, right? And when you're celebrating and you're up in somebody's face and you're giving them the business, like that is so much disrespect. I think that you can play the game and be competitive and be a competitor without being disrespectful. And I think that's where the tension has started to come from, is it's, hey guys, this is golf. We're here. We respect each other. We're friends off the course in most cases. Like we hang out with each other, 30, 40 weeks out of the year. Like we all hang out with each other. Our wives know each other. Our kids know each other. Like, and now we're here and we're acting like this. We're showing this much disrespect to each other. Like, I feel like that's where a lot of the tension came from, is it was just the level of disrespect. You can celebrate, you can be friends. We watched it a couple years back. It was Rory and I can't remember who he was playing the match against, but they were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like it was super intense, and they're all pumping their fists when they're making putts. They're going nuts. They're getting the crowd into it, but none of it was disrespectful to their playing partner. None of it was purposefully malicious. None of it was, I'm better than you and I'm going to rub it in your face that I won this match. It was all in done in respect and done in jest. And so I think that's where a lot of this tension is starting to come from is it's crossed a line to being disrespectful and not in the spirit of competition and in the spirit of golf where everything is just rooted in respect for the course, respect for yourself, and respect for your playing partner. So those are our quick takes. We're going to be doing this more often on recapping rounds that we've played. We got a fun video coming out soon that's come play 9 holes with me. Got out to play a little one-man scramble the other day by myself. First time I'd played probably 3 or 4 years. It was nice to be out there just kind of hanging out. Kind of weird coincidences that led to it, but we'll talk about that next time. We'll get into what do you do when your playing partners cancel on you. So anyway, thanks for listening along and being here. We're excited for the things that are coming up in the future with Fairways. And if you're interested in getting some golf instruction on not only how to swing the club better, but how to be a better relationship builder on golf, we are always taking free discovery calls. You can book one of those on our website at FairwaysRM.com. Or if you want to just jump into learning, if you go to FairwaysRM.teachable.com, you can sign up for our online course there, 7 days free when you sign up for a monthly subscription to that, and it's cancel at any time. So at worst case scenario, you're going to be able to fly through our content there and learn a little bit more about what we're teaching there for just $50. So anyway, I'm Joe, and I appreciate you listening in, and we're looking forward to the next time we're going to be out on the course. We got a couple of rounds planned here in the next couple of weeks that we'll be doing recaps for, so stay tuned for those.